BowFlex. In this video, we'll show you how to assemble the BowFlex Max Trainer SE SEI. Before you begin the assembly, please make sure you read the assembly manual thoroughly, as it contains important safety warnings and assembly tips. Please note, some of the steps might require 2 people. Begin by selecting an area where you are going to set up and operate your machine. For safe operation, the machine must be located on a hard, level surface. Please allow a minimum work area of 70.9 inches by 54.5 inches. Be sure that the workout space you are utilizing has adequate height clearance, taking into consideration the height of the user. See the assembly manual for a complete parts list. A right R and left L decal have been applied to the parts to assist with assembly. Select pieces of hardware may have been provided as spares. Be aware that after proper assembly, there may be remaining hardware. The following tools are included with your assembly. A pair of scissors or a box cutter is recommended. Step 1. Unboxing the Max Trainer SE SEI. This procedure may require 2 people. Begin by cutting and removing the packing straps if present. With the box near the intended workout area, open the top flap and safely cut the corners of the box. Be sure not to injure yourself when cutting the box with scissors or a box cutter. Keep hands and fingers away from the motion of the scissors or box cutter at all times. Be aware that the box has shipping staples which can be harmful. Keep your hands and fingers away from them at all times. The box can be used to protect the flooring. Step 2. Unpack all of the parts and packaging from around the main assembly, leaving the main assembly and the parts under it in place. Some components of the machine can be heavy or awkward. Use a second person when doing the assembly steps involving these parts. Do not do steps that involve heavy lifting or awkward movements on your own. Be sure to keep your hands and feet clear of parts during unpacking. Remove all parts. Keep the area clear immediately around the box. If your machine is in 2 boxes, the main assembly is in box 1. Step 3. Safely pivot the main assembly into the upright position. Some components of the machine can be heavy or awkward. Use a second person when doing the assembly steps involving these parts. Move the parts that were under the main assembly out of the assembly area. With some assistance, pivot the main assembly into the upright position and discard all shipping material. Step 4. Locate the rear shroud and remove the rear shroud from the main assembly. To remove the rear shroud, use the side openings, abruptly pull out and upward to release the rear shroud from the main assembly. Place the shroud aside for now. Step 5. Begin by attaching the rail assembly to the main assembly. Match the square plate with the square plate on the main assembly and push the rail assembly into place. Next, secure the rail assembly using the following hardware. The hardware is pre-installed and not on the hardware card. Only hand tighten the hardware until instructed to fully tighten. Partially tighten the hardware. Finally, remove the hardware from the shipping plate. Using the provided wrench, remove the hardware on both sides. Step 6. Carefully lift the frame assembly from the shipping plate and attach to the stabilizer assembly. Use a second person when doing the assembly steps involving these parts. Do not do steps that involve heavy lifting or awkward movements on your own. Lift the frame assembly from the interior of the pivot assembly as indicated. Discard the shipping plate and mount the frame assembly onto the stabilizer assembly. Matching the holes on the stabilizer assembly, slowly lower the frame assembly into place. Next, secure the frame assembly using the provided hardware. Both A screws are the longer screws and go on the front of the machine as shown. Hand tighten all hardware for now. Once all hardware has been hand tightened, fully tighten all hardware, including all hardware from previous steps. Fully tighten all hardware. Step 7. Begin by attaching the legs to the frame assembly. Secure the legs using the following hardware. Be aware that the legs are connected, and when either of these parts move, the other does as well. Slide the wave washer first, followed by the legs and hardware. The legs should rest on the rail assembly. Fully tighten the hardware using the provided wrench. Next, cover the hardware using the provided cap. Slowly snap the cap into place and replace these steps for the opposite side. Step 8. Begin by removing the foot pads from the foot platforms. Set the foot pad aside for now. Next, remove the pre-installed hardware from the foot platforms. Remove the hardware using the provided Allen wrench. Then attach the foot platforms to the pedals. Matching the 4 bolt holes, slowly push the foot platform onto the pedal. Secure the foot platform using the previously removed hardware. Fully tighten the hardware using the provided Allen wrench. Next, reattach the foot pad. Slowly snap it into place. Repeat these steps for both pedal assemblies. Step 9. Begin by attaching the pedal assemblies to the frame assembly. In order to avoid possible serious injury when inserting the tube ends into the leg assemblies, be careful to avoid fingers or hands being caught or pinched. Secure the pedal assembly using the provided hardware. The bolts go on the outside as shown. Secure the bolts using the provided nuts. Fully tighten the hardware using the provided wrench. Repeat these steps for the opposite side. Step 10. Begin by locating the top shroud. Please note, there are 5 tabs that will secure the top shroud. Slowly snap the top shroud to the frame assembly. Step 11. Begin by attaching the handlebar assembly to the frame assembly. Matching the side holes, slowly push the handlebar assembly into place. Next, secure the handlebar assembly using the provided hardware. Install the hardware on the sides first. Hand tighten the side hardware for now. Do not fully tighten until all hardware has been started. Partially tighten the remaining hardware, then fully tighten all hardware using the provided Allen wrench. Once all hardware has been tightly secured, insert the plugs to cover the hardware. Slowly snap the plugs into place. Step 12. Begin by locating the console assembly. First, connect the cable to the console and then attach the console to the handlebar assembly. Pull out the wire with enough slack and connect it to the back of the console. The cable should easily connect. Do not cut or pinch the console cables. Once connected, slide the console down until the tab snaps into place, securing it. Once the console is secured, use the provided cable strap to secure the cable to the handlebar assembly as shown. Step 13. Begin by attaching the media rack to the frame assembly. The hardware is pre-installed and not on the hardware card. Remove the pre-installed hardware and set it aside for now. After removing the hardware, slowly insert the media rack into the frame assembly. Next, secure the media rack using the previously removed hardware. Please note, when inserting the screws, slightly tilt the media rack toward the console to be sure that the hardware fully engages the media rack. Fully tighten all hardware using the provided Allen wrench. Step 14. Begin by attaching the rear shroud to the frame assembly. To attach the rear shroud, first place the upper part of the rear shroud onto the frame assembly, and then pivot it downward into place. There are 6 tabs that will secure it. Make sure all tabs are engaged and the shroud is fully secured. Step 15. Begin by attaching the dynamic handlebars to the frame assembly. A right R and left L decal have been applied to the parts to assist with assembly. Some components of the machine can be heavy or awkward. Use a second person when doing the assembly steps involving these parts. Do not do steps that involve heavy lifting or awkward movements on your own. Be aware that the pedals and the dynamic handlebars are connected, and when either of these parts move, the other does as well. Secure the handlebars using the provided hardware. Be sure to attach the dynamic handlebars so that they are in the range of the operation for the user. With the pedals level, the dynamic handlebars will be in matching position. Be sure that the tabs on the inside of the ring shrouds align with the hardware to fully attach them. Fully tighten all hardware using the provided Allen wrench. Repeat these steps for the opposite side and fully secure both handlebars. With both handlebars secured, attach the ring shrouds. Slowly snap and push the ring shrouds into place as shown. Step 16. Begin by locating the AC adapter. Slowly connect the AC adapter to the frame assembly. Be sure to use the appropriate AC adapter plug for your region. Before using your machine, make a final inspection. Inspect your machine to ensure that all hardware is tight and components are properly assembled. Remove any protective covers from the face of the console. Remove the plastic scratch guard strips from rails. Be sure to record the serial number in the field provided at the front of this manual. Do not use until the machine has been fully assembled and inspected for correct performance in accordance with the assembly manual. After your first few workouts, some hardware will need to be tightened again. To ensure quiet and smooth operation, make sure to tighten the indicated hardware after 3 workouts. Be sure to inspect and fully tighten all hardware monthly or after every 20 hours of use. Reference the assembly manual for workouts, troubleshooting, and other program features. Congratulations! Assembly of the BowFlex Max Trainer SE SEI is now complete. Enjoy your new BowFlex Max Trainer SE SEI. Brought to you by BowFlex.